Hi, I'm Sujay, and join me as I talk with someone who shaped Bangalore's craft beer scene, Mr. Narayan Manepally, the co founder and CEO of Geist Brewing Company. We talk about his love for beer, homebrewing experiments, and winning the Gold Award at the prestigious European Beer Star for the Unkle Dunkel. This is Beer Interview Time. I'm here with a very, very special guest. Would you please introduce yourself?
I'm Narayan Manepally. I am the co-founder and CEO of Geist Brewing Company.
Right. I came to Bangalore. When I started doing this beer reviews, I came to Bangalore. And Geist Brewing Company, I think that's the standard, like a canned beer, which people seem to love a lot. So they were always messaging me that, please review Geist. And I think Witty Wit, is Witty Wit your most famous?
Yeah, so first off, when we started, we didn't have any cans.
Right.
We were only in kegs.
Okay.
And we were only doing B2B sales, which
Okay.
is to restaurants, pubs, clubs, etc. that had a license to accept the keg beer. And then, so that business was growing.
Okay.
And then COVID happened.
Okay.
And everything fell flat on its face.
Okay.
So remember March 14th, 2020, we got our last paycheck and everything stopped. And we had no idea how deep, how long, how far, how wide this is going to be.
Right.
Everybody was in chaos. But the one realization that we had at that moment was we are too highly leveraged in one channel, which is the B2B channel.
Right.
So we need to diversify the risk, because what is happening worldwide during COVID was people who had cans and bottles were actually still selling beer.
Okay.
And everybody that had kegs, it stopped because nobody's going to a restaurant anymore.
Right.
So for us, the big realization during COVID was, let's de-risk.
Okay.
So 2 children were born out of that whole COVID situation. One was we introduced cans
Okay.
right after COVID, that is in 2020.
Okay.
And then this outlet where you're sitting right now, this beer garden,
Right.
was also born out of the COVID crisis.
Okay.
Because we said, let's assume we do kegs and nobody wants to go to a restaurant.
Right.
Let's at least have our own place and hopefully somebody will come, because
Right.
the only objective was save the company and save its employees. That's
Right.
it. That's all we had in mind.
But with COVID, the government not allowing people to leave, how did you make that step about let me open up a place for people to come and sit?
Because 2 things happened, right? One was construction was allowed during
Okay.
COVID,
Okay.
and because it was open air.
Right.
And the realization was we had these 2 beautiful trees,
Okay.
and we said something has to be done underneath these 2 beautiful trees.
Okay.
So let's just build a beer garden. And we didn't realize how keen people were to leave and go to a place. Just fed up with being stuck within 4 compound walls.
Right.
But because this place was open air, people accepted this, and that's how we built the brand. So anyway, the point is, COVID allowed us to de-risk from a keg business B2B into cans and then into beer gardens.
All right. These beautiful trees which you saw, what trees are these?
So this is a banyan tree,
Okay.
and somebody says it's 100 years old.
Wow.
Somebody said it's 300 years old.
Okay.
So we tend to stick to 300 because it sounds sexier.
Yeah.
And that's a people tree.
Okay.
And that's the tree under which Gautam Buddha actually got nirvana.
Okay.
Not this particular
Not
tree,
this-
but
oh,
this,
yeah.
this type of tree.
Right.
But what's most interesting is there's a lady here called Sharda Sharma. She's an 80-year-old woman.
Okay.
Brilliant woman. I mean, just a... And so she's got a PhD in Hindu mythology.
Okay.
And one day she comes to me and says, Beta, you realize that these are 2 alpha trees that they don't like to grow next to each other.
Okay.
But she said, this place is blessed because you have 2 alpha trees both thriving next to each other.
Right.
I'm like, thank you.
And it was natural, right? Like
It was already there.
someone says 300
Yeah,
years, if they've been growing, then it's
But
their
what's
own.
really interesting was when we built this factory, not too many people know this, by the way, there was a line of bamboo trees here,
Okay.
right? And this tree was drying up. And I just couldn't understand what was going on.
Okay.
So we're trying to do some research and trying to figure out, and somebody said, oh, you know what, you've got yeast in the brewery, you need to put yeast in the soil and it'll help it and stuff.
Okay.
So we are pouring tons and tons of yeast into this thing.
Right.
But what changed was when we removed the bamboo, everything became better. So it's strange. I can't explain it. But anyway, that's what happened.
Are you interested in gardening and things?
I love it.
You love gardening?
Yeah. I love it. And by the way, when we built this factory, apart from maybe one branch, maybe 1.5 branches, we didn't touch anything.
Okay.
We even built this building right around the tree. So you see it's curved.
Right.
So we wanted to kind of capture as much of the tree as possible without touching it. So we didn't touch this banyan tree at all. We paid full respect to this tree and Mother Nature.
Beautiful.
When we built it.
And actually it gives a brilliant shade. You never feel it's sunny.
Yeah. By the way, the Japanese, there's a particular term, I forget the name of the word, but they believe that we are all connected to Mother Nature.
Okay.
And so they encourage human beings to walk in forests.
Right.
And it's called forest bathing.
Okay.
Because every bone in your body and my body is that we need to connect with Mother Nature. We want to be outside. We want to be near water. We want to be near air. We want to be near trees.
Right.
This is how we feel. You put yourself for 10 hours inside a conference room, your mind is fried.
Yeah.
10 hours outside, you're totally at peace.
It's like the new Gen Z term, touching grass.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. No. When someone's online a lot, they say you need to go touch grass. Because you're stuck in that room, you're on your computer, they're like, go out and touch grass. And I think it's kind of like the Japanese thing, you go out.
Yeah, it's called forest bathing apparently,
Where you're kind of grounding yourself as well, right? Like if you are bare feet, and the grass is actually very good for the human body. It's like really absorbs.
Earthing.
Yeah, it's earthing, basically, So you are, again, you seem very interested in gardening and things like that. So what do you like to grow?
So to me, I'll tell you, one of the greatest pleasures that I get is every seed of a fruit that I eat, not every, but most seeds of fruits, I actually convert them into plants. So I germinate them. So avocado. So every avocado that my wife and I eat in the mornings, I use as many of those to germinate them. So I've got 3 avocado trees inside the house right now in pots, and I've got another 3 outside in the garden. And the idea is to grow as much of this as possible. So and I've grown everything. I've grown citrus, lime, chilies, broccoli. I mean, it's all out of, pineapples, all of that stuff grown out of.
You grow.
Yeah.
And then you've had does it change, is it a good environment and a good soil for the same avocado?
You can make the soil
you do all of that.
So my formula is very simple. It's 1/3 vermicompost, 1/3 manure, and 1/3 red soil. And then you fortify it based on pH and stuff that the plant wants. But that's pretty much it. It's quite simple.
Do you?
But the greatest pleasure for me is to see something grow. It's amazing.
Like this beer, the Geist Brewing.
It is just the most satisfying feeling to see something that you had a dream of come to fruition. And again, it's the fruition part happened because there's a spectacular team of people working here. But it's just so nice to see something grow like this.
So let's talk about the seed about Geist. When was that planted, or how did that grow?
Yeah, so by the way, I'm a former electrical engineer. I went for my master's to Virginia Tech. And then I got hired into a research group in Princeton, New Jersey. This was not part of Princeton University, but it was a group that Intel owned. And the idea was to bring audio and video into the PC. Because that was, yes, I am that old. So
I was going to ask you if you're legal enough to drink these beers.
Yeah, maybe you should ask the question, are you too old to drink these beers?
I don't think you can ever be too old to drink beer. I've had it with my grandfather. He's 90 now. He still enjoys a beer, I think.
Same with my dad. My dad is 93. He loves these beers.
Beautiful.
But anyway, so I started working in Princeton, New Jersey. And at that time, we had this legendary CEO by the name of Andy Grove. Who unfortunately is no more. But he came to the research group. And then he said, what is all this bullshit non-real-time video stuff you guys are working on? Give me something real-time. So me and another guy were hired to go work on something real-time. And we came up with the idea of a real-time video conferencing system.
What's the difference between like a non-real-time and a real-time
So effectively, you can take video, you can compress it, you can store it on your hard drive, and you can play it back. So for example, when you record this conversation with you and me, you're storing it somewhere. You're going to post-produce it, edit it, do whatever it is, and you will play it back on your social media channels. That's a non-real-time video. A real-time video is interactions happening in real time.
Okay.
So you're talking to me, I'm talking to you. We could be thousands of miles apart, like in a Zoom call. For
Just like
example.
FaceTime or something.
It literally is
basic.
that.
Okay.
It literally is that. So me and this colleague of ours, a colleague of mine, created this video conferencing system.
Okay.
It was called the code name for it. It was called Twin Peaks.
Okay. Based on the show.
Based on the show, but the show is Twin Peaks.
Right.
We named this Twin Peeks, like in peak.
Okay, you can.
So it was called Twin Peaks, and so Andy was shown this demo, and he said, "I need to have this at the ISMC, which is the Intel Sales and Marketing Conference."
Okay.
So there are 2,000 people.
Okay.
And then he comes to me backstage, and he says, "This had better work." And my knees are trembling, my hands are sweating, and we're like, "Oh gosh, please let it work," because it was so fragile that if you breathed on it wrong, it would crash. Anyway, so fortunately it worked.
It worked.
We had a multi-point call going between Japan, Princeton, New Jersey, and Arizona, which is where we were at. And then he was like, "Okay, we're going to now create this as a real product."
Okay.
It got shifted to Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
And I became part of a big team of people there.
Okay.
And then when I was in Portland, Oregon, everybody in my group made beer. Everybody.
Okay.
And they all made these amazing beers in their homes. And home brewing is a very big, like $1 billion plus industry in Oregon.
Okay.
And so I got hooked. I would go brew with my Intel friends, built a brewery in my garage, experimented with a bunch of different beers. And I remember one seminal moment where we made these beers. So this colleague of mine, my batchmate Jeff, and I brewed at my garage.
Okay.
Made this beer, followed all the instructions that Kevin from Main Street Homebrew, which is where we picked up all the raw materials and ingredients from. He gave us a list of things. The guy has a PhD in microbiology.
Okay.
Fabulous guy. And he was telling us all this stuff, and my jaw is on the floor listening to him speak. I'm like, oh my gosh. Anyway, did all that stuff, went back to the house, brewed the beers, followed all the instructions, and forgot about it.
Okay.
And then many weeks later, maybe 3 weeks later, Jeff says, "Hey, I've invited a bunch of friends over to come and try our beer." And I'm like, "Dude, this thing's going to taste like shit." And he's like, "It's only friends, don't worry, it's fine." So I went to the local store, it's called QFC, and picked up a bunch of craft beers and put that in the fridge.
You picked up craft beers
From a store, from a grocery store, and put it in the fridge because I was convinced that our beers are going to taste like crap.
Okay.
And then I had this Coney keg, and we had these plastic tubes and plastic taps and CO2 cylinders, and connected everything, did everything what Kevin told us to do.
Okay.
It was in the fridge, and I tapped the first glass, and it was fantastic. And everybody only drank that beer. I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm on to something.
Right.
And that was the moment I decided that, you know what, I'm going to take this to India and do something with craft beer.
Okay.
Because every time I came back to India, every year, the only beer available was Kingfisher.
Kingfisher. Right.
So I'm like, yeah, everybody in the US is enjoying all these amazing beers. Why can't Indians enjoy the same thing?
True.
That's how the idea started.
Okay.
What nobody tells you is, it's like golf.
Okay.
Your first shot is amazing. Every subsequent shot after that sucks. Okay, so my beers that I made afterwards were terrible. But the good news is I stuck with it and I didn't give up.
Did you feel that the consequent beers, you weren't maybe following something that Kevin or something said, or you tried doing everything to the T again?
I did exactly the same thing. It's just things.
It just
There's
worked.
so many parameters
Right.
that can go wrong.
Okay.
So for example, you didn't understand at the time when you're brewing at home how important temperature is for mashing.
Okay.
If your temperature...
What is mashing exactly?
Mashing is effectively when you take your grain, which is barley or wheat,
Right.
malted barley or malted wheat, which is called malt, you break it open with a mill,
Okay.
and then you immerse that in water.
Okay.
Now, when you immerse that in water, enzymes start, dormant enzymes that are already part of the malt, they kick in when they start converting carbohydrates to sugar.
Right.
That's the process called mashing.
Okay.
Now, these enzymes, there are mainly 3 of them. There is alpha amylase, there's beta amylase, and something called branch dextranase.
Okay.
Now, each of these are very sensitive to temperature.
Okay.
Now, Kevin told us, follow this temperature. You need to start with this temperature, end with this temperature, strike out at this temperature, blah, blah, blah. Now, you're doing it at home on a stove, okay? Now, also, you're like, you know what, 1 or 2 degrees here or there is fine, chalega type thing. No chalega. You cannot screw that up.
Okay.
So when you screw it up, what happens is you have no sugars left.
Okay.
So the enzymes have deactivated. They're not converting carbohydrate to sugar.
Okay.
And if you have no sugar, you have no alcohol. So you make the beer taste okay, and you're drinking and drinking and drinking, and there's no buzz. I'm like, dude, what the heck? What's going on?
Right.
So that was kind of one fuck up.
Okay.
Second thing is yeast. You have to be really, really, really careful and hygienic when it comes to yeast.
Okay.
You make a mistake, your beer is going to taste like crap. Of course, I made all those mistakes, not realizing how important hygiene is,
Right.
how important cleaning is, right? And I wasn't married at that time. You're a bachelor. You're like, chalega, just wash it quickly and put it in and stuff like that. Let's make the next batch.
Right.
No. Anyway, these are all learnings.
Did getting married help you make better beers?
It helped me make myself a better person, and therefore, hopefully, make better beers.
So about that first batch, do you remember what kind of beer you made?
Yeah, it was a California Golden Ale.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is that, like an IPA of sorts? Or?
No. It's just a Golden Ale. It's a very lightly hopped pale ale.
Okay.
And it's very sessionable.
Okay.
Pale color, of course. But I think it was like 4.8% alcohol by volume is what we're trying to shoot for.
Okay.
And but yeah, it's like think of it as a gently hopped pale ale.
Really? And to make it more crafty, did you add some other?
That was
nothing.
the first batch.
Just grains.
Followed. Yeah, there was a
yeast.
bunch of. By the way, when we started the beer,
Right.
the first batch that I made was with something called extract. It was not
Okay.
even whole grain,
Okay.
right? So there are 2 ways of making beer. One is
Okay.
to take what they call as malt extract. So somebody's already mashed it for you, and they've created this, and they removed the water, and they've created this honey-like substance.
Okay.
It literally is. It tastes very sweet.
Right.
Tastes like really good. Right?
It'll almost be like tang of sorts. Like not a powder, but
Yeah, it's in the early days when I was growing up, the health thing that your parents would give you was called Federol. Okay, it's like
Okay.
this. It's like think of it as like Chyawanprash, but
Okay.
Western style.
Okay.
And so every parent was giving their child Federol because it's supposed to be good for you and all that. And it was all malt extract.
Okay.
So pharmaceuticals, when they use sugar for their products, it's primarily malt extract,
Okay.
right? So anyway, the first batch we brewed was malt extract. And that's much simpler than by using something called all grain. When you
Okay.
take all grain is when you take the whole grain,
Right.
you break it open, and then you mash it.
Okay.
Right? But extract is somebody's already done the mashing for you. They've created this compound. You add water, and you boil it, and then you add yeast after you cool it down.
Okay.
So it's like a cheat version of making beer.
Right.
Yeah.
But you did that and it still tasted
Yeah, the first batch is great.
Great.
The second batch onwards, we started moving to grain.
grain.
And then we are seeing all these problems,
Right.
which is why all breweries use all grain to make beer, because the amount of control that you have is fantastic. You can nail it down to just the right amount of, what kind of sugars you want, how much of mouthfeel you want. All that stuff can be done in all grain.
And all grain. Okay.
Whereas in extract, it's like sambar powder. Somebody's given you the sambar powder, you mix water with it, and you make sambar. But I can't change the taste very much.
Right. So it's always better to be able to control every ingredient of
Yeah,
sort.
because every brewery is known for one of its beers or few of its beers,
Right.
etc.
Right.
And so you want that little special thing, whether it's a yeast, whether it's a grain, whether it's a process, to make a difference in the taste.
Okay.
I will guarantee you, if somebody took our Witty Wit recipe and made it at a different brewery, it'll taste different. It'll
Right.
never taste the same.
Okay.
So there's that. In addition to all of the stuff I told you, there's also what we call Haath Ka Kamal,
Right. Yeah.
And so
Like a chef's kiss.
it's exactly.
Yeah.
So for example, if I gave the same set of ingredients to your mom to make a dal, and my mom, same set of ingredients to make a dal, the two outcomes will be completely different.
Right.
Because you come from a different part of the country, I come from a different part of the country, and my mother and your mother are used to their databases of, how to make food.
Oh, right.
And it'll be totally different.
True.
The same thing happens with beer.
Same thing. Okay. Speaking of which, can we taste the first beer?
Yeah, I've already
This
been
is
tasting it, by the way.
This is the popped rice lager.
Pop rice lager. This is made with something called araloo.
Okay.
So it's rice that is initially steeped in water, and then they take that slightly wet rice, and they put that on a bed of hot sand.
Okay.
And it literally pops like popcorn.
Okay.
And it's done in the shell, in the husk.
Okay.
And it kind of pops out of the husk. And that's what we've used. And so it's like a amazing biscuity, popcorny taste, but for rice.
Okay.
So that's what we've used for making this.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's also from the back you really get that
You get a little bit of grain note.
the grain notes from the
that's
back.
all from that rice.
Yeah. It's not bitter at all. It's one of those rice lagers which are very easy to drink.
They're sessionable, easy to drink.
Yeah.
That's what we're aiming for, is to make this very unchallenging
Right.
and something that you can drink quite a bit of on a hot day. So
It's perfect. We are shooting this in the morning or in the afternoon. It's like a perfect afternoon beer for sure. I've also noticed that people have for me, I feel that there's some beers which you enjoy more in the day, which is like a rice lager or your wheat beer or a Hefeweizen. And the darker, which are the stouts, they're more enjoyable at the evening. Now, I don't know if it's the color or what it is, but I don't think, do you think it's true that a darker beer is always going to be more bitter or something more stronger than?
not at all. So first off, the misconception that Indians have
Right,
about a dark beer is that it is higher in alcohol.
right,
It doesn't have to be.
right,
It is more bitter. Doesn't have to be.
right.
It is very heavy, which it doesn't have to be. You can have a you can have a light, as in light alcohol, but dark lager,
Okay,
which is not very bitter. But somehow, we are tuned to think of
Right.
darker colors in a particular way.
right,
And initially, most people hesitate to drink a darker colored beer in the morning or in the afternoon, for example. It's normally kind of reserved towards, because of these misconceptions that they
right,
have.
right.
Also, by the way, and this is not a misconception, but stouts are typically dark. And stouts are made because the water from the region that they originated from were heavy in minerals,
Okay,
more conducive to making a darker, heavier beer.
okay,
And so when people drink a stout, which is the first association people have with a beer which is dark, their entire thing is, hey, it's going to be it's going to be heavy, it's going to be bitter, it's going to be alcohol. All of those things don't have to be true.
right,
They can be, but they don't have to be.
right,
Actually, it's an interesting segue into the Unkle Dunkel
right.
as to why is it that we introduced the Unkle Dunkel. So the Unkle Dunkel, by the way, we, just to let your audience know,
Right.
we won gold, which I'm very proud
I think,
of.
can I show it
Yeah, absolutely.
like just a bit more? So this is the European Beer Star.
Yeah.
It's a gold.
So it's a gold, and this
A
is
beautiful award as well.
Yeah.
It's also written a South German, I don't know if they can see it, but a South German style Hefeweizen
Hefeweizen
Dunkel.
Yeah.
Right.
So Dunkel means dark,
All right.
and a Hefeweizen is basically, Hefe is yeast,
Okay.
and Weizen is beer, is wheat. So
Right.
it's basically a Hefeweizen that we all know of.
Right. Right.
First time in India that a brewery has won gold
Right.
for this particular style of beer, or for any style of beer. for that
Right.
matter.
Yeah.
But more importantly, this particular beer beat every German brewery, including many of them that were established in the 1600s.
Right.
So this is a huge tribute to the team, and I'm incredibly happy for all the efforts that they put in. Anyway, coming back to Dunkel. Oh, by the way, we're the first brewery also
Right.
to win 2 medals at this competition. Last year we won it for the Rockefeller. We won a silver medal there. And this year we won gold in the Dunkel Weizen category.
the German.
Yeah.
So coming to the Dunkel as well. Yeah.
Why did we introduce this beer in the first place?
Right.
Was primarily to kind of figure out a way of challenging the misconception.
Okay.
Right? So every misconception as far as dark beer was concerned, heavy, bitter, high alcohol, etc. This is neither of those.
Yeah.
And also, it's a wheat beer. And Indians love wheat.
Okay.
Now, many explanations to why we love wheat and stuff, but that's a story for another day. But the point is, this beer was introduced because we felt like we wanted to kind of find a way to educate people about a dark beer being none of those things that you talked about.
Right. So the first time when I poured this Unkle Dunkel, I saw the color.
Yeah.
It was again dark. I thought it's going to be like a slightly bitter, slightly darker, like a Weizen. So I thought it was going to be a wheat beer, but I thought it was going to be bitter and heavy. And then when the first sip I took, I was like, wow, it's so light, it's so caramelly, it's sweet. There's obviously no sugar added, right? No, nothing. The ingredients looked great. And I was like, wow, this beer just blew my mind. I gave it a very good score. And I go out and I tell my brother that, this Unkle Dunkel, it's amazing. And he's like, yeah, that's just the general, I don't know if people tried it or not. Again, people think that Witty Wit is a lighter beer. But I think if you are in Bangalore or any place where Geist is available, you should really try this beer. It's the best Indian beer I've had for sure. Yeah. Yeah. So you wanted to break misconceptions.
Yeah.
How did what kind of research do you do before starting a beer out?
By the way, I don't know, not too many people know this, but Geist was the first company to introduce a wheat beer into India.
Okay, like a Hefeweizen or what kind of a
It was actually a Belgian wheat beer.
Okay.
It was called Whistling Wheat.
Whistling Wheat.
This was a little stubby bottle.
Okay.
That we got this thing made in Belgium because we couldn't get a license here to manufacture.
Okay.
We got it made in Belgium with the recipes that I had created in my garage.
In Oregon?
In Oregon.
All right.
And we obviously tweaked it with the manufacturer in Belgium because they had constraints with process and what ingredients they could use and stuff. And we got it made there and brought it back.
Okay.
And that was the first time anybody introduced wheat.
Okay.
And the reason we came up with this idea of wheat was because in the early days, when we were trying to figure out what beers to make, we had these friends and families who were all guinea pigs. So we made the beers here.
Right.
And and this was in a small home brewery, by the way.
Right. Not here.
Not here.
In a home brewery. Okay.
In a different place to be unnamed.
Unnamed. Okay.
We made the beers and we actually had our friends come and try it out.
Okay.
And universally, we saw Indians at that time at least didn't like very bitter beer.
Right.
The fact that it was made with wheat somehow was a little bit more kind of appealing to them.
Okay.
And something that was not very boozy, very alcoholic. Right?
Okay.
So the three things that we kind of discovered.
Okay.
So we said, okay, when we launch our beers, all three of them are going to be wheat beers.
Okay.
Okay. So that's what we did. So in our kegs, we had a Belgian wheat beer.
Right.
And by the way, even with the Belgian wheat beer, what we found was wheat appeal, orange and coriander were tastes that were very familiar with the Indian palate.
Right. For sure.
And by the way, our experience with our Belgian wheat beer that we imported in was based on the fact that the focus group studies that we did, and by the way, completely unscientific. It's all friends and family.
Yeah.
We paid nobody any money. They came voluntarily. And then we had this beer, we had this profile that we had created. And then we said, okay, so it's going to be all wheat beer. So when we launched our first beers, Witty Wit was the first one.
Okay.
Wise Guy was the second, which is the Hefeweizen.
Right.
And Unkle Dunkel was the third.
Okay. So this is one of the oldest, from the start.
The original. This is the OG of beers that we introduced. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Beautiful. When you first tried out the wheat beers with your friends and family, when you tried out the wheat beers with your friends and family, was it just was it mainly men or what was the demographic of?
No, we had men, we had women, we had a whole bunch of people. Everybody was there.
Because I feel when I have, let's say a Kingfisher or something, or a London Pilsner, which are like OG Indian brands, Indians seem to love the bitter, more soda, more bitter and sweet. Like they seem to love these things. And the other beers just pump it. If your beer doesn't have 8% alcohol or something, they tend to go towards, I'm talking about the majority, not a craft, not someone from the city, but all of India just enjoy that 8% type of a beer. So did you also maybe feel that I should also make that type of a beer?
So when we first started, this was not the feedback that we got with our
Right.
with our research that we did.
Right.
And again, our audience has always been craft super premium.
Okay.
So they are more educated, they earn more income, better travel, more aware of foods, etc., etc. Husband and wife typically working.
Okay.
And so the feedback that we got had nothing to do with alcohol, that they wanted a strong beer.
Right.
They just wanted something that was surprising, but not in a bad way, but surprising in a good way.
Right.
Bitterness was common across men and women. They did not like very bitter beers, at least
Right.
at that time. That is slowly changing, by the way.
Yeah.
So that was the feedback that we got. And wheat beers, we knew were going to be accepted universally. In fact, we had this huge kind of discussion inside the team trying to figure out and say, do we do 3 wheats? Should we just do 2 and do something else? Because it kind of gets boring. But I think the call we made was the right call, to do all 3 wheat.
Right. I think what you talked about bitterness, there are also different types of bitternesses. If you make a good stout, it stays with you. It's like having a very good cup of coffee. Rather than just a regular bitter beer, which people think, oh, beers are supposed to be bitter. It's not supposed to be like that. And even bitter beers can be very smooth in the bitterness.
Yeah.
So I think people are finding out about...
Yeah, so there are 2 kinds of bitterness, right?
Right.
One is measured bitterness, which
Okay.
is in the lab.
uh-huh.
You can do a calculation to say, what is your IBU, which is your international bittering units.
Okay.
But then when you drink that beer,
Uh-huh.
that's called perceived bitterness.
Right.
Right? The 2 of them can be completely off.
Right.
You can have a high IBU measured bitterness and a very refined perceived bitterness,
Right.
and vice versa.
Right.
Now, the secret is, and this is why I actually believe Indians can make amazing beers that can be world beaters,
Right.
because our food is that good. Right? Indian food is freaking amazing.
Right.
So when you have complex food on a complex palate and the diversity of food that we have, we are in much better shape to understand flavor, taste, balance. And the key to making a good beer is balance.
Okay.
So for example, I can have a high IBU beer,
Right.
but I have a nice malty backbone to support it. The perception of that bitterness comes down.
Right.
Whereas if I have a thin beer, and even if the IBU is slightly lower, it really hits you as harsh.
Right.
So the key is, how do you balance out bitterness so that it is appealing and it is nice to drink?
Right.
And therefore, Indians making beer can do a much, much better job
Right.
because we understand food.
Right.
By the way, in this competition, the number 1 country was Germany, and then there was United States, Germany, and then Italy. Okay.
Because they like wheat as well.
Now, Italy, by the way, is always known as a wines country, right?
Right.
They were always known for their wines. But today, they are world beaters because they won a huge number of awards.
Okay.
Because Italian food, if you think about it, it's beautifully tasty,
Right.
but it's so simple. You take really high quality ingredients and you put them in a particular way, and you don't have to do very much cooking or this or that or whatever else.
Right.
But the end result is amazing.
Amazing. Right.
Any any pasta I've had in Italy has been fabulous.
Right.
We are coming from the same end of that spectrum, but from a slightly different perspective, which is they do simplicity, we do complex, but we both understand flavor and fragrances and taste.
Right. I think in that line, Asian countries as a whole, even if you go to Thailand or Japan, and like they understand the complexity and simplicity of food.
Yeah.
So they can probably also do very good in
absolutely,
beers.
absolutely.
But talking about the first batches, you said that when you made the whistling wheat,
Whistling wheat.
whistling wheat, you made whatever you did in Oregon, you did a few trial batches. So how long did it get you from making your first homebrew to making this whistling wheat?
3 years.
3 years. And you just how consistent were you in making your home? Like after all those failures where you're like, why is it not working out?
Every failure makes you better.
Right.
Right. The key, in my opinion, just stick with it.
Right.
But you do have to, I believe in this 10,000 hour principle.
Okay.
In order for you to be really good at anything,
Right.
you need to have spent 10,000 hours doing it.
Right.
That's 15 years worth of work.
Yeah.
Right. So you really need to spend time with your passion. And there are moments you're going to say, screw this shit, I don't want to do this anymore. It's a pain in the neck.
Right.
Those are the moments where you have to kind of soldier on. And so for us, we just went at it and at it and at it. We just didn't quit. The only credit I can take in all of this stuff is I didn't quit.
You didn't quit. I think, but you also enjoyed making.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it.
Right.
I loved it. But every passion that you have
Right.
has a shelf life.
Right.
You can do this for one day, you can do it for 1 year, you can do it for 2 years. And then
Right.
you're like, you know what? Do I really want to do this or not?
Right.
Now, yes, it's tiring and it's a pain. And this is true with anything that you do in your life. It's not just beer making. It could be coding, it could be your marketing job, it could be your production job, anything that you do.
Right.
Your stuff that you're doing with video
Yeah.
and Instagram and everything
Yeah.
else. So anything that you do will have to have 10,000 hours dedicated to it for you to be really, really good. And I'm
Right.
sure when you started this,
Right.
you learned so much in the process.
100%.
Right? And you get better and better and better at
Yeah.
it. The key is if you want to really, success is defined by you. If you want to be successful,
Right.
you really have to be at it.
Right. So you feel like discipline overtakes.
Focus, discipline, humility, and this openness to realizing that you need to listen to others and you need to take in as much information you're getting from others
Right.
so that you're making yourself better and making the product better. That's it.
Beautiful.
And I actually think, we underestimate a lot the concept of humility in this because, if for every Narayan, there are a million Narayans who are better than me,
Okay.
right? Why is it that this Narayan is here and many other Narayans who are better than me maybe are not here?
Right.
Is because some people actually have this thing of saying, hey, you know what, I'm better than I actually am.
Right.
And all of us tend to overestimate our abilities to thinking that we're actually better than who we are. We have to be humble to know that we're not good, we're learning, and we continuously learn.
Right.
And humility is a crucial part of it. And if you put these things together
Right.
and you continuously be at it, I have the saying that says, luck piggybacks hard work and effort.
Right.
So luck will come,
Right.
but luck only comes after she's seen you put in the time and the effort and the frustrations and soldier on.
I think I remember when I was a kid, my dad told me this proverb. He was a golfer, and he said, "The harder I worked, the luckier I got."
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
Like that, yeah. So when you finished brewing your beers in Oregon, and you had a good job, a great job, possibly, and Intel, you were pioneering something like FaceTime and
It was
real-time
video conferencing. Let's just
video
put it that way.
conferencing type of a thing. And you decided, oh no, I want to make beers. I've had great beers. Why would that happen? Like people would just say, this is a hobby. Just changing lines, just in such a dramatic fashion, would you be considered like crazy or what would your family say? That, no, listen, you've got a great job in the USA. Please stay there. Don't come back to India just to make beer.
Yeah, 100%. My dad said exactly what you said. He said, you must be freaking nuts.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Right? You can't be doing this.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I have to do this.
Right.
And then after I got married, my wife also, she's like, are you crazy?
Yeah.
Then I said, okay, you have to have two people say what you're doing is crazy.
Right.
Then you have to do it.
You have to do it.
So that's how it started. But honestly, I think it's been what I have learned from this compared to what I would have learned if I had stayed on my job is just immeasurable.
Okay.
To give you an example, every rupee that we spend, and we have the saying in the company, which is chavanni ka dhanda hai, meaning that you have to focus on the last 25 naya paisa
Right.
and how do you save it.
Right.
Whereas in the US, I would sign off projects to McKinsey for $1.7 million. And I'm like, there's no comparison, right? I've learned so much in this job that I would never have learned if I were in the US working with Intel.
Right.
So this has been a blessing, in many ways, because it's made me realize how much more there is to learn and appreciate money to levels that I would never have.
You know what? It's very interesting because when you talk about chavanni ka dhanda hai and appreciating money. When people see a beer company or people see craft breweries or Kingfisher, they'll think it's a very glamorous or it's a sin type of line, and you'll probably be making a lot of money. So is it like that? Is the government just think, oh wow, you're making a lot of money making beers? And that's
I think the general perception is exactly what you said, which is a lot of people think because you're in the alcohol space, you have money.
Right.
Nothing can be further from the truth.
Right.
And we're living examples of that.
Right.
We work on fumes pretty much on a daily basis, every single day.
Right.
And we're worried about how do we cut costs,
right.
or how do we make sure we're not spending anywhere that is unnecessary, yet producing the products that are world beaters.
Right.
And it's a huge challenge.
Right.
So the government, by the way, unfortunately, I have to say, is, they are squeezing the alcohol industry a little too much.
Right.
They have raised excise duty in the last 24 months.
Okay. Excise on beers?
Excise on beers, on alcohol, pretty much, right?
Same thing
Primarily
in Maharashtra happened where, for hard liquor, at least they increased the taxes a lot. Yeah.
So I think governments are looking at this as a cash cow. The more you increase, they feel like people are going to continue to drink.
Right.
And so it's okay to kind of keep increasing taxes.
Right.
But there will be a point of diminishing returns. I think it's already happening.
Right.
So I think, yes, there is a conception or misconception that if you're in the alcohol space, you have money.
Right.
And governments look at this and say, let's squeeze this more and more and more to get more revenues for ourselves.
Right.
Which at some point in time, in fact, is already happening in Karnataka. You're seeing that the industry is being hurt.
It's being, because I think you spoke about it, how the microbrewing or the brewing industry in Karnataka was very quickly growing, like the craft scene. But if the government does not support it, and if you just keep on taxing it, then it's probably not going to grow in the same way at all.
Yeah. So it's like, it's in many ways, it's like income tax.
Right.
You keep increasing the income tax more and more and more.
Right.
Either people will not declare their income,
right,
or they will cheat.
Right.
Right. And by the way, they're probably both linked in some way. But I'm saying people are going to find ways around it.
Right.
You bring down the taxation, more number of people will be part of the net or the umbrella, and your absolute revenues can actually go up.
Right.
This is something that I think our governments don't quite realize.
Right.
And in many ways, we are stuck between Mahatma Gandhi and the British.
Right.
It's politically very correct to say we don't support alcohol, but they need the money from alcohol.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And by the way, somebody asked me during one of these interviews or a discussion saying, what is the one thing that you would like to change? And I said, you know what? What I would like to change is the name or the title of the excise commissioner. It says Commissioner of Excise and Prohibition.
Right.
Those two can't exist together.
Right.
Either you're a commissioner of excise or you're a commissioner of prohibition.
Right.
And so there's this mindset that said we have to keep prohibiting,
Right.
which is, it's detrimental to the industry.
Also, do you feel that prohibition would just kind of, people are not going to stop drinking?
Never.
But prohibition will make worse quality alcohol, which is going to be detrimental to a person's health.
Absolutely. I mean, see what's happened. Every time there's been a prohibition, illegal alcohol has been made.
Right.
People don't have the science and the background to make proper alcohol.
Right.
They make stuff that has methanol in it, and people die.
Right.
And then people, they kind of reverse the decision and go back. US is a classic example.
Right.
Right. 1919 to 1933, there was prohibition in the US. What did people do? They were making moonshine, a whole bunch of these things. Speakeasies opened up.
Yeah.
Everything happened. So prohibiting alcohol is a bad idea. It can never happen.
For sure. It can't happen. Yeah. But let's say even with the squeeze and with the issues of how do you make sure that the quality is nice? How do you do that research and development and allocate enough budget to just coming up with a good beer?
First, most important thing is have a good team and have a good brewmaster.
Right.
Fortunately for us, Vidya, who is our brewmaster,
right.
At the risk of embarrassing her, I keep telling people, if I have to put a picture of hers in the brewery and do puja to it every day, it would be a disservice to her because she's that good. Thankfully, she's been there. She's
been there from like the start?
From the start.
Okay.
And fortunately for me, we used to have these intense fights in the beginning about, what beers we're going to put out, how the beer should taste, this, that, whatever else. And I realized along the way that I knew very little and she knew a lot more than I did. Fortunately, I had the humility to listen to her.
Right.
And I keep telling people, if we had made the beers that I wanted to make, guys were a shot.
What did you want to make?
I wanted to make these really hoppy IPAs because that's what I wanted to drink. And she's like, no, that's not what it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, So we went down in, of course, the wheat path was always there, but I wanted to put a lot more hops in it. I wanted to do a very, very different kinds of beers, which would never have worked.
Okay.
We would have collapsed. There's no question.
So are you there on the team to take the final decision or is Vidya that this is a good beer, this is what goes out?
Pretty much, the definition of what beers we should be putting out is a discussion with all of the core team at Geist.
Okay.
Okay. I have a say in it.
Okay.
But it's a team effort.
Okay.
And everybody decides in the team, saying this is the beer we need. We're going to put out. And it's also based on feedback that we get from Vikash, who runs our sales and marketing.
Okay.
And so he says, hey, this is a gap in the portfolio that we need to fulfill.
Okay.
Let's explore this.
Okay.
Once that gap is kind of decided and we said, okay, this makes sense for us to do, then Vidya goes and takes over, and from there, and she pretty much decides what it is.
Okay. So has there been a time where Vikas would say that, listen, matcha is doing very well, let's make a matcha beer, and Vidya is like, absolutely not, I'm not going to touch that.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. So feedback has come saying, let's make cider.
Okay.
Like, we're not touching that ever.
You're not going into that, no?
She will never do it.
Okay.
She said, if you ask me to make a cider, I quit. I'm like, no, please, we won't make a cider. So,
but ciders do well. People do enjoy cider, but you don't want to go into that ever, or
yeah, I think for us it's about focus, because you can only do one thing well in your life at any given point in time.
Right.
We are still on the journey of making great beers.
Right.
And we want to get better and better and better at it.
Okay.
Right? After we've won awards for all of our beers, then we'll say, okay, let's look at ciders. But right now, we just want to be technically excellent at what we do.
Okay.
And focus on beer is very, 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 it was the only focus that we have right now.
Right. Also, how do you decide which, this is the brewery space of it. How do you decide what beer stays, what becomes a can? Because last time I was here, there was Rockefeller on tap, and there were special beers. Now, this time the special beer is this pop rice lager. So how does that process go about?
So typically what we do is, when we decide on this beer, and this happened with Repeat Strong, the beer that we've launched
right now
in the market,
yeah,
is once we decide on a particular beer, we put it out in our beer gardens and tap rooms, and we just see how sales are happening.
Okay.
And we've noticed in India, and pretty much anywhere in the world, but particularly in India, if somebody is paying for it, you can rest assured that you'll get the right feedback.
Okay, yeah.
And the right feedback is the beer selling or not?
Right.
And then we have our wait staff talk to customers and say, what do you like of the beer? Do you like it? What do you want to change?
Right.
And then you will see feedback coming through saying, you know what, it's not enough alcohol, or it's too bitter, or I want something different. So we look at that and say, okay, how do we tweak this beer now? We tweak it. And we put out multiple versions of that in our beer gardens and tap rooms.
Right.
And then you can start seeing a trend.
What do you mean by multiple versions of it?
Different recipes of the same beer.
Okay. So one day I can come to the beer garden, it can be a different flavor, and...
You'll be hard pressed to notice it.
Okay.
But there will be a change.
Okay.
Especially for the experimental beers that we're putting out.
Okay. So how often do you do that?
It's done probably, if we put this out, say, every batch of beer takes 14 days.
Okay.
So between once in 3 weeks or once in 4 weeks, a new version of that beer can come out.
All right.
Once we see decent levels of success at our own beer gardens, we send that out to our favorite customers who've been loyal to us.
Okay.
And who buy a lot of Geist.
Right.
And we give it out to them to try it out at their outlets.
Okay.
And we gather the collective feedback and then say, yes, this has given us decent sales to justify this going into a can.
All right.
Okay. Again, that's based on us deciding initially that there is a gap in our portfolio that we need to fulfill.
Right.
Take, for example, Rockefeller. Great beer. You love it. I love it.
Right.
But it'll never go into a can.
Right.
Because it's just not enough people who appreciate a smoked wheat beer in this country.
Right.
Right. And so that's a decision that we've taken, saying we'll have it from time to time in our taps, in kegs, but that's pretty much where it's going to go.
Right.
And we also want to have this available because that won a silver medal last year. It'll be a shame not to have an award-winning beer not part of your portfolio. So we would do it only because it is a world beater.
Right.
And Indians, hopefully over time, will warm up to this.
Right.
But people that love that beer love it.
Right.
And we want to make that available to as many people who want to come and drink it. So smaller batches in our own outlets and to a few of the customer outlets, but the sales are not going to justify it ever going to a can.
Can. All right. So apart from a keg and a can, what is the difference in a canned beer and a draft beer? Some people think that draft is always better. So is that true? Is draft always better, or can also be good?
Yeah. So the definition I have, and this varies from every single brewery that you will see, unfiltered, unpasteurized beer is effectively a draft beer to me. Okay. Now, you can either look at the form factor of the size of whether it's a 50-liter keg or a 500 ml can or a 330 ml can, or you can look at the liquid that goes into these three things.
Okay.
The liquid for me, if it's unfiltered and unpasteurized, that's a true draft beer. Because that's the way it was defined many, many years ago.
Okay.
Filtration and pasteurization came much later to expand the scope and the scale at which you produce that beer.
Right.
So when you filter, you remove everything from it.
Okay.
Proteins, yeast, small hop particles, whatever, they're all gone. And the beer becomes brighter and clearer.
Clear,
Right? Which means you have less number of things in the beer that can go wrong.
Okay.
And then you pasteurize it, which effectively you do two types of pasteurization. Either you do a flash pasteurization, which is you pasteurize the liquid, or you do a tunnel pasteurization, which is you pasteurize the liquid and the can or the bottle.
Okay.
Once you do that, all microbes are pretty much killed.
Okay.
So the shelf life of this beer can be extended.
Okay.
Right? So typically for me, if you're in a bottle and if it's filtered and pasteurized, that's not a draft beer.
Okay.
Although there are many breweries in the world, including India, where they filter and pasteurize the beer and put it into a keg and call it draft beer.
Okay.
It's their call.
Right.
Yeah. Now, why do people say draft beer tastes better? If you take amazing yeast out of the equation by filtration, you've lost not only great minerals, chromium, selenium, vitamin B6, vitamin B12, right? All those things are going out of the equation if you filter.
Okay.
And then when you pasteurize, there are reactions that are happening that are not. By the way, I'll give you a small story. Everything in my life, as far as beer brewing is concerned, has been dictated by a Swedish scientist by the name of Svante Arrhenius. Svante Arrhenius was the first person in the world in the 1800s to predict global warming, by the way. And the first scientist in the world to define the rate of reaction in a liquid. And he said, for every 10-degree rise from a base of 20 degrees, your rate of reaction doubles.
So what is rate of reaction exactly?
So there could be kinetic reactions. There could be a whole bunch of these, which atoms and molecules kind of bombarding against each other because of temperature. Also because of viscosity. The thicker the liquid, the less the interaction, etc. Right?
So from 20 degrees Celsius.
From 20 degrees Celsius, if you raise it to 30 degrees Celsius, whatever's happening inside that can or that bottle is doubling. We all know that when heat is applied to beer, something bad's going to happen. It always is going to taste worse. Right? So the idea is keep the beers cold as much as you can. The minute you put that to heat, something bad's going to happen. And I look at, for me, it's like my little children going out into the open in a desert and it's hot. And it bothers me. It really affects me. I'm like, they're sweating and they're not happy. So you've got to keep them cold. So that has been that's how we've dictated it. So when you say a keg beer tastes better than a bottle beer or a can, two reasons could be. One, you've removed stuff that's actually good for you. And therefore that mouthfeel, the taste, all that stuff.
The good beer thickness and
whatever is nice in your mouth, and yeast adds to that, proteins add to that. Little bit of hop particles in there, to me at least, is all part of the whole process of having extra polyphenols. It increases your kind of perception of that particular liquid. And then you apply heat to it, something bad's going to happen. We don't know what's happening. So when you put in a bottle or a can, it has a potential of tasting worse than in a keg. Couple that with 2-3 other things. One is light, which is in a keg, there's no light penetrating. In a can, there's no light penetrating, which is why we actually chose cans exclusively for everything that we do.
Okay.
We don't do bottles.
Okay.
Because UV light will 350 to 550 nanometers in that range is going to penetrate even a dark brown colored bottle if
Okay.
kept in light.
Okay.
And something's going to change.
Right.
So carbon hydrogen bonds between hops that are there, real hops that you put in, break
With
Right.
the UV rays.
with the UV light.
Okay.
Which is why Corona puts their beer in a transparent bottle because they don't actually use real hops.
Okay.
So they use a hop modification, if you might,
Okay.
where that carbon hydrogen bond is already broken.
Okay.
So it doesn't taste like cardboard if you open the bottle and drink it.
Like cardboard.
So if you have these bonds breaking,
Right.
the taste perception that you get is wet cardboard.
Okay. So, that's what happens probably even in a hot can or something. Does it break in a hot can?
Yeah. So if you have cans kept in heat, like I said, and by the way, it's worse in a can in heat.
Okay.
Because this is a conductor of heat.
Right.
A bottle is not.
Right.
So from that perspective, a can is worse in absorbing heat.
Right.
But it's also great when you put that in the refrigerator, it takes in as much cold quickly as opposed to a bottle.
Right.
Because a bottle is an insulator.
Okay.
Sorry. So anyway, the point is, beer in a keg, draft beer, is going to taste better, according to me, because you have unfiltered, unpasteurized beer that gives you that nice mouthfeel and therefore better aromas.
Okay.
And then when you put that into a can, you will have, if you filter and you pasteurize, you will have a different taste perception. Which is why we are the first company, by the way, to actually introduce true draft beer in a can.
Okay.
What you see in a keg
Right.
is what you get in the can. Exactly the same thing.
Right. I'll just show this can. This is the Unkle Dunkel. I also love your artwork, by the way.
Yeah, so that was done by a person called Vinayak Verma. And so the company we have this policy of encouraging young, brilliant artists.
Right.
And so the idea is to keep changing this from time to time from different artists.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Repeat Strong was done by another young lady called Sanjana Bhatt,
Okay.
a brilliant young woman who designed the can.
Right.
And then for our Crowler takeaways, we have various people doing different versions of the artwork.
What's a Crowler takeaway?
So, I told you about COVID
Right.
and how there was this, we lost all of our sales because of we were in kegs.
Yeah.
I actually worked with the government of Karnataka
Okay.
to allow an open air beer garden because the
Okay.
rule says you have to have a roof.
Okay.
I actually got that changed
Okay.
to allow us to sit under the open sky and allowed people to take away beer from here. So I wrote the definition of something called a growler.
A growler. Right.
A growler is up to 2 liters worth of beer in a glass, stainless steel, ceramic form factor that you can take away from a factory outlet. This is considered to be a factory outlet.
Right.
So I wrote that amendment.
Okay.
A can version of that growler is called a crowler.
Okay.
So can growler.
So that'll be like a 2 liter of.
Yeah,
can?
2 liter is no. It's this.
This is a crowler.
It's a crowler. So
Okay.
that's why it says craft beer crowler.
Okay. So this was allowed then instead of a
So
can.
I got this
amended.
to allow this to happen.
I mean, that's good for them to listen.
Yeah. So I think that the state, first off, were as broke as we were at that time during COVID.
Yeah.
So they were more open to ideas.
Right.
But they're now finding that the feedback that they're getting from customers is that this beer people like. So
Right.
they're saying, hey, we should also try to give as much opportunity and as much choice to customers.
Right.
And the Karnataka Excise Department is very progressive.
Okay.
They have set the rules that many excise departments outside the state try to copy and mimic.
Right.
So they allow this to happen because this is unfiltered, unpasteurized, sent in cold transport.
This is sent in cold transport.
Yeah.
So
Sent and stored in cold transport, by the way, these particular crowlers.
how do you store it in cold transport?
So we're the first brewery, first off, not only to have refrigerated transport for all of our crowlers
Right.
and our kegs,
Right.
but so kegs can go directly from the manufacturer to, let's assume you have an
restaurant.
outlet restaurant.
Right.
It can go directly to you. I don't
Okay.
have to go through a government depot.
Okay.
But a can has to go through a government depot.
Okay.
So inside each of the 17 urban depots, we put in refrigerators.
Okay.
So we send it, we put it into the refrigerator,
Okay.
and then the retailer picks it up and takes it to their outlet from there.
Why does it have to go to a government depot?
That's the rule.
That's just it. It can't go directly to the customer or directly to the wine shop. Okay.
That's the rule.
Okay. So they let you cool it over there.
we're the
allowed you
first
to.
company to have that permission,
Okay.
right? Also, I think the reason why they wanted to go through a depot is for control, because in the past, there were a lot of people that played a lot of games,
Okay.
and they did not provide sufficient revenues to the government. They were eating that revenue.
Okay.
So if you're not honest, then the government can get cheated, and so they're concerned about these revenues, so they want to make sure they have control.
Okay.
The benefit, by the way, is this, which is, let's assume I sold it to you directly,
Right.
You may say, hey, Narayan, paisa nahi hai abhi, come back in 45 days and take my money, right? And then I come back in 45 days, you'll say, I need a little bit more time, and that thing can go on forever.
Right.
Whereas in the government depot, I pretty much get paid twice a week.
Okay.
So our cash flow is much better.
All right.
So there are advantages to this process.
Right.
And from a government perspective, there is a huge benefit because they know exactly what is happening.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they can make better decisions as well based on...
Exactly. They know, okay, the sales are going down, going up, this, that, whatever. They're not relying on people like us to understand what is happening. In fact, we are relying on them
Right.
to tell us what the sales are
Right.
for not just our brand, but also for others.
Right. When you started making this, the Geist, when the idea for the Geist first came, you made your small batch home brews. Did you think that you want to make like a microbrewery? Did you want to make like a craft beer house, or did you want to make something that reaches all of India?
So it's interesting you asked the question. When we first started, all we wanted to do was set up a microbrewery.
Okay.
And this is why I think, listening to customers pays off.
Right.
So we actually set up 2 of our own microbreweries in association with a partnership with others.
Okay.
It's called Brewski and Big Brewski.
Okay.
So I'm the founding partner in both those places.
Okay.
Right. And I became founding partner only so that guys could go brew beer there, and we could do this at a larger scale.
Okay.
And that's all we wanted to do. We just wanted to make great beers and give it to people. But what we saw in that process was customers coming to us saying, love your beer, hate the Bangalore traffic, please make this available closer to where we live.
Right.
And then that's when the idea sparked to say, oh, wait a minute, maybe there's another way of doing this, right? And then when we started looking and saying, and then you start reading these books about, oh, any business that you do has to scale. And then you realize that if you do a microbrewery, doing one itself is a pain in the neck, because to maintain quality, there is a pain. And I am an obsessive compulsive when it comes down to hygiene, cleanliness, all of that stuff.
After marriage.
No, yeah, after marriage. yeah. And also with age, I have to tell you, I've become... Anyway, so you can do one, maybe you can do 2. And after that, you will start seeing whether you like it or not, whether you want to admit it or not. You can never be as good in your third microbrewery as you can with one.
Right.
Then we said, customers are saying this. Bangalore traffic actually is helping us.
Right.
Because people are not willing to travel. Cops are all over the place. They're catching people who are, having alcohol, etc. Why don't we explore this?
Okay.
So my business partner and I, who unfortunately passed away a couple of months ago.
Oh, sorry.
But he and I were sitting and discussing this to say, what do we do?
Right.
And then we said, can't we set up because microbreweries are not allowed to sell beyond their premise. They can only sell within their 4 compound walls in this state.
Beyond your premise as in like a can crawler or like?
Nothing. You can. So for example, a microbrewery is not even allowed to do kegs.
Okay.
You can only serve directly from the tank to your tap.
Okay.
Right? So, and then there's a blueprint that they say, okay, this is 10,000 square feet or 6,000 square feet or whatever, and that's my blueprint. I'm going to make beer here.
Right.
You can only sell within that 6,000 square feet.
Okay.
So we said, okay, microbreweries are not allowed to distribute. So what we'll do is, let's try to get ourselves a industrial brewery license.
Okay.
And everybody kept saying, no, this is not, you can't do it. The government is not issuing licenses for breweries.
Okay.
So like, okay, shit, that plan has failed. And then suddenly one day, Mohan and I were sitting at the Bangalore club, trying to figure out what to do next. And one of our friends comes to us and says, hey, these SBR guys or some company name, they got their license in Mysore. And we're like, wait, they're issuing licenses? He said, yeah, man, they're issuing a license. I'm like, oh shit, okay. So we actually got ourselves an industrial brewery license in order for us to make these kind of beers that what microbreweries make, but be allowed to distribute.
Okay.
So we are South India's first distribution craft brewery.
All right. So how do you then, everything is made here so you can get the quality that you require?
Yeah.
Over
and by
here?
the way, on the quality we require, there was a rule that effectively says you can use 1,000 kgs of malt to make 6,500 liters of beer. And
Right.
that's very, very, very closely monitored in an industrial brewery by all state governments, including Karnataka. We're like, that's nowhere enough in order for us to make good quality craft beer. So we actually went and did a representation. They called a technical standing committee to discuss and say, do we allow more malt to be used to produce craft beer? And they approved it. So we are the first company to actually get the laws amended in order that more malts can be used to produce these beers.
So kind of you're also helping out the other newer
Absolutely. A lot
breweries.
of people, and by the way, that same rule now applies to microbreweries because that's the old rule of 1,000 kgs of malt for 6,500 kgs of liters of beer applied even to microbreweries.
Okay.
So many microbreweries don't even realize, but they have to thank us for making that change.
That's great. No, so once you expand and once your scale grows bigger, how do you plan on focusing on the same quality beers? Which you could maybe, if you had 3 or 4 microbreweries, maybe it would be tough to manage each one. Now it's like all in this spot. It's easier for you to manage. But once, I'm sure you plan on growing even more. How do you plan on keep on doing that?
Yeah, so I think what we have here is sufficient to serve, at least for the scale that we are looking at, to be a profitable company.
Okay.
We can do it from here and serve multiple states.
Okay.
And so that will happen from this one location. So the
Okay.
quality control is way better.
Okay.
Now, it is also foolish for us to send beers from here to the north because the transportation costs are very, very high.
Right.
So at some point in time, we will have to have another brewery.
Right.
But what is useful with what we're doing here is we're learning every day. And there are hundreds of things that can go wrong.
Okay.
So you have to keep learning, put in the systems and process,
Okay.
and then take everything that you've learned into a new brewery,
Okay.
right? And set it up somewhere else.
Right.
Now, is it going to be different? Yes. But you're going to, if we replicate as much of what we have here in there. In fact, one of the things that we do here with our water is we completely RO the water,
Right.
right? So you're back to zero, and then you add back chemicals.
Right.
So when you RO water here and RO water there, will there be a difference? Yes, there'll be a slight difference, but we can tweak it because of the knowledge and the IP that we have.
Right.
So the idea is maybe 1 or 2 larger breweries, but nothing more.
Okay. I was going to ask you, since you said how the stout was made because of a heavy mineral water.
Yeah.
Do you can make something local like a Bangalore beer because of the water here, or a North Indian beer because of the water there?
It could. It's just that I actually, that's an interesting question because I actually believe all beer styles that we make today have been defined by the West.
Right.
There is an opportunity for us to create an Indian defined style.
Right.
What that style is, I have no idea.
Right.
It could be millets, it could be something else, but it could become a category.
Okay.
But I think at some point in time, there will be a global standard, created from India.
Yeah.
I believe that.
We can really hope so.
Yeah.
I think beer is doing well in India, especially with India doing well. I think there's going to be more beer drinkers. Or do you think that the younger generation isn't drinking as much?
So I think there are 2 things happening, and both those things are linked.
Okay.
One is, I think there is an increase in beer drinking now,
Okay.
where if you look at the pyramid, right, the top part is super premium,
Right.
and the bottom part is what we call mass/value.
Right.
This is 95 rupees for a 650 ml bottle to 100 rupees in that range. So really, really high alcohol, 8% alcohol, but very, very cheap.
Right.
And then here, range of alcohols, but expensive.
Right.
The middle part we notice is either moving to the top or moving to the bottom.
Okay.
So there is a growth happening in beer in India, which will, in my opinion, we are safe and secure for the next 10 years, give or take. Okay.
All right.
But the young generation is definitely looking at reducing alcohol consumption, no questions.
Right.
So there is a moment in time that will happen 10 years from now, 12 years from now, 7 years from now, who knows,
Right.
where there will be a reduction in consumption of beer or alcohol products.
Right.
My guess and my hope is that the younger generation will not completely eliminate drinking, but they will do 2 things. One is to move to lower alcohol products like beer,
Right.
but also say, okay, instead of drinking 3 beers, I'll drink either 2 and top it up with a non-alcoholic, or I'll drink 1 and have 2 non-alcoholics.
Right.
Provided that the non-alcoholic beer is good,
Yeah.
right? If it tastes like crap,
Yeah.
nobody's going to have it.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, most, and not all, but most non-alcoholic beers I've had have not come up to the mark, right? It will get better, by the way.
Right.
It'll get better, and it'll get better leaps and bounds very, very quickly. But that trend is going to happen as long as the non-alcoholic beer tastes better.
I've heard that for Oktoberfest especially, people go to Germany and they enjoy the non-alcoholic beers there as well.
Yeah.
And I didn't know people would actually want to drink a non-alcoholic beer.
So you'll see, depends. So I just came back from Oktoberfest, by the way.
Oh, you
I was
did?
there a few days ago.
Okay.
And you go there, and they're like, no 500 ml, no 3,000. There's a 1
1
liter
liter,
jug,
yeah.
and it's one kind of beer. Take it or leave it.
Okay.
That happens in the big tents.
Right.
So in the big tents at Oktoberfest, no chance.
Okay.
Right? Because there's too many people there and they can't be bothered making non-alcoholic and stuff like
Okay.
that. But at least the tents that I went to, which is Augustiner, Paulana, Lowenbrau,
Right.
they were, everybody was,
no.
no, it was just one kind of beer.
Okay.
Take it or leave it.
Right.
Don't bother me.
Right.
Whereas if you go to a restaurant in Munich, they do have alcohol-free options,
Okay.
but they were not necessarily a Fest beer or a Matzen, for example, made for Oktoberfest.
Right.
But the trend in Germany is non-alcoholic beers are rising leaps and bounds.
Okay.
Because there are two things are happening, right? One is the population in Germany is much older than India. So as you get older and older, you're also more concerned about your health
Right.
because you're trying to expand your lifespan, which is irrelevant for the youth right now. People don't give a shit.
Right.
But there is an increasing realization with Gen Zs and and the generation beyond that, where alcohol consumption is viewed negatively, and they want to reduce it. So the hope is they will move more towards beer, and they will then do non-alcoholic and alcoholic as a combination,
Right.
as long as the non-alcoholic beer tastes good.
Right. So even like light options and
Everything.
apart from
Yeah.
so is that something you're looking for, like a light beer?
We made a light beer here.
You did?
Yeah,
Okay.
we made one here. It didn't do very well.
Right.
So
I guess it's still not there for the, we still want to get drunk. Talking about again quality, since you also like, you said farm, gardening and stuff like that, does that interest you in like putting your own, like from the crops and from the malts? Like how well do you want to control each ingredient? Like have you thought about planting those things as well?
So there are some things you can do and some things you cannot do.
Right.
Can I grow amazing vegetables? The answer is absolutely yes. And we're already doing it, by the way.
Right.
So we have a 3-acre plot of land.
Okay.
And so all of the wastewater that comes out of the brewery, we send it through seawater membranes.
Okay.
And then the permeate that comes out,
Okay.
which is literally, again, clear distilled water. I could easily use it in beer making,
Okay.
but we don't. Because people are saying, yaar, ye recycle kar raha hai, water. Even though it's fantastic
Yeah.
water, it's better than what you get in your own bow wells.
Right.
But we don't do it
Uh-huh.
because people are going to be a little phased
Shaken up,
by
yeah.
that. Yeah. So we take that water and we send it to our kitchens
Okay.
for cleaning dishes
Okay.
and for washing our vegetables.
Okay.
Okay. Then the reject of that brewery water, goes to flush our toilets.
Okay.
And that toilet water goes into a sewage treatment plant.
Okay.
So the effluent treatment plant is here, the sewage treatment plant is there.
Okay.
All of the kitchen waste, toilet waste, everything goes to a sewage treatment plant.
Okay.
That water we treat, and we use that to water our gardens.
Okay.
Okay. And then the sludge that comes out, the treated sludge, is then used as fertilizer for our soil.
Okay.
And so we send it to our farm in bags, and we have a 3-acre piece of land, like I told you, and it's used as fertilizer.
Okay.
The vegetables that grow from there, and so we've started something called the OTP project.
Okay.
It's actually, people say OTP is one-time password. For us, it is onions, tomatoes, potatoes.
Okay.
Okay. So we have an OTP project where we've grown amazing quality tomatoes,
Okay.
amazing onions, and amazing potatoes. Right? All of that has come back to our kitchens.
Okay.
And my dream, I hope I can accomplish this,
Yeah.
is to serve, and by that's near organic. We hardly use any chemicals there.
Right.
And it's all very, very eco-friendly chemicals like chilies and turmeric and stuff like that that we use to spray our plants
Okay.
to keep bugs out. And my dream is to have near organic for all of our customers that come to our beer gardens.
Okay.
Because I want them to eat like I would like to eat. Okay, we're not there yet, but we're getting there.
Okay.
And all of the rejects that come from the kitchens goes as compost to our farm.
Okay.
So we're trying to create this kind of circular economy.
Okay.
Right? Anyway, my point is, we are passionate about quality, not just for our beers, but also for the food that we serve people here and what kinds of foods that we serve.
Right.
And so I think everything has to link with the customers in the customer's mind.
Right.
Which is to say, if you come to Geist, I know I'm going to be fine because
Right.
you get good beer, it's a great ambiance, the food is good, and hopefully we can convert all of these good to great.
I mean, yeah, beautiful. But no, just in terms of beer, how do you ensure that the quality of the ingredients that you use is just the best for the beers?
Yeah. So first off, it's selection. I'll give you a small example of things that we do.
Right.
So all of the malts that we buy as much as we can direct because we want that to suffer as little heat as possible,
Okay.
especially for our specialty.
You
malts
really
like-
hate heat.
I hate heat. So it's like, I don't know.
The Oregon was good, I guess.
Oregon was rainy. That's a new problem.
That's
It's always
you know
rainy.
like. So is Bangalore though.
No, but not even close to Oregon. Oregon,
Oh, really?
9 months in a year, it's raining. Here,
Okay.
3 months in a year, it's raining, or hopefully 4 months in a year.
Every time I've come here in the evening, it's raining.
Yeah,
It's
I know,
drizzling
I
for
know.
sure.
That's why we built that part there, so you
Right.
can sit down there and enjoy stuff. Anyway, what was your original question?
You
How
said
do
the
we-
heat. You
yeah.
hit the heat you buy.
So we
from
buy as much as we can directly because we want even our malts to come as temperature controlled as we can. So
Okay.
effectively, when the malts come in, we immediately put that into a cold room. So
Okay.
all of our malts are stored cold, right? Hops are imported directly from either Germany or the US by air,
Okay.
and it comes through the inland container depot.
Okay.
Bangalore International Depot, this airport,
The airport.
depot.
Okay.
And then where I have worked with the United States Department of Agriculture and with FSSAI to remove these norms. They had some crazy ass norms in there. So for example, worldwide, the standard on copper is 1,000 parts per billion.
Okay.
Okay. Somehow in India, it became 30 parts per billion. So all of the consignments were getting rejected.
In the hops, you're saying.
In the hops.
Right.
They would send it to CFTRI for testing.
Okay.
And they would reject it because they're saying it's more than 30 ppb. You can never hit 30 ppb.
Okay.
So we got that changed, and we are now conforming to global standards.
Okay.
The second thing was I had to issue a letter for every single hop consignment saying this is going to be used for medical purposes.
Okay.
Okay. So there was a medicinal use certificate that I had to provide. Which is, they knew I'm making beer. I know I'm making beer. What's the point of giving the certificate? So we
Right.
got that removed.
Okay.
So like that, we did a lot of things to expedite the clearance from there.
Okay.
The third thing we did was a green channel. So
Okay.
for example, if you're a trusted importer and you have had no problems over 6 months
Okay.
of continuous checks, for example, then they will only randomly check your consignment, not every single time,
Okay.
right? And the next thing we got done was hops come in 5 kg bags and they've got inert gas, right?
Okay.
It's packed with nitrogen, for example.
Okay.
And these guys would puncture the bag to sample out products.
Right.
And the entire bag was gone. You can't use it.
Okay.
And knowing Vidya's obsession with quality, if one small hole is there, she's like, no, I'm not going to use it. I'm like, dude, there's a lot of money here. She said, no, I'm not using it. Anyway, God bless her. But the point is, we got a thing where we have these little sample packets now. So they can just tear out the sample packets, 100 grams, and use it for testing if they want to.
Okay.
So we got all these things done so that it's not suffering heat at the Bangalore International Airport depot. And we get it here, it's kept cold.
Right.
So that's the other thing that we do.
Okay.
So again, I personally visited our malt suppliers and met each one of them
Okay.
to ensure that they are as passionate about beers as we are,
Right.
and they are as passionate about their products as we are. So, and yes, of course, so sometimes we have to top up and get our consignments from local distributors.
Okay.
But even there, we try to go with people who are more caring. And we've had a couple of where we've imported stuff from them or bought stuff from them, and it wasn't great.
Okay.
So the people that we buy it from are people that we believe are doing their very best
Okay.
to protect the quality of product.
So, Vidya is a perfectionist for sure.
Absolutely.
Are you also a perfectionist?
Yeah.
Or-
Well, I'm learning from her, but I think I'm more like OCD
Okay.
than perfectionist. Maybe they're related, but yeah, she's a perfectionist, and perfectionism is like, it's crazy perfectionism. She's like mad. Yeah.
So has there been times where she's not happy with her own product, but you have to tell her that, listen, this is
All the time.
good. This is
Every
everybody
single-
loves it. This is great.
Every single time. She's never happy. Never, ever happy. Which is great. But it's stressful for her, poor thing, you know. But, you know, good for the company because if you're never happy, you'd at least try to do better.
Right. So what's now next for Geist apart from just expanding? What do you think is?
I think, you know, the desire of every craft brewery is to get your beers into the hands, into as many appreciating hands and mouths as you can.
Right.
That's the objective.
Right.
So that's, yes, it's expansion, but it's also trying to keep reinventing what you're doing to see if you can get better and better. That's one. Second challenge for us is how do you maintain quality and not raise your prices when everything is becoming more expensive? Right. Malt prices have gone up 38% in the last 2 years.
Okay.
Hops have gone up like crazy. So what do you do to keep the quality of your beers the same and yet not have to increase your price? Because 5 rupees here or there can make or break a product in this country.
For sure, yeah.
So what do you do? Right. Third is how do you introduce people to the original objective that we had, which is introduce people to what the best in the world has to offer.
Okay.
So, of course, winning awards is important for us only because it keeps us honest to know where we are.
Right.
But also bring in new trends. So, for example, globally, by the way, there is a resurgence of craft lagers again.
Okay.
Right. So everybody is making craft lager.
Okay.
When I say lagers, but especially the craft breweries are making craft lagers to make it slightly different.
Lager is like what, the regular Pilsner lagers?
Yeah,
or
so Pilsner
one?
is a lager.
Right.
Like that, there are many, many kinds. There's an Italian Pilsner, there's a German Pilsner, there is a Czech Pilsner. It doesn't have to be Pilsner per se. Pils came from the region where the water, the region of Pils in the Czech Republic, where the water was very soft, conducive to making a lighter beer.
Right.
So it's like, think of it as a light lager. In Germany, by the way, while wheat beer sales are going down, Helles, which is a lager, a light lager, is leaps and bounds is growing. Right. So people are drinking more and more of lagers again.
Okay.
So we want to introduce that trend into India, which is why we introduced Repeat Strong as a Helles export lager. It's a higher alcohol lager. Okay. And we did that because we found that even in the urban markets, people want what is defined in the industry as KFB. It's called kick for buck. Okay. Also in Hindi called paisa vasool. Okay. So we've got that beer. Yeah. It's a truly remarkable, representation of a Helles export beer. Okay. But slightly higher alcohol. Right. And we'll continue doing more in that range.
So in terms of paisa vasool, do you think you can compete as a lager? Indians love a Budweiser Magna or something. So do you think it can compete or it will still be its own different
I think it's definitely the latter. I don't think we'll ever, we don't want to ever compete with the big boys because you can never win. Ever. And we have to pay respect to the big boys because they produce those beers in such huge volume. Right. And you know what? Credit to them. And it's pretty damn consistent. Right. So they have economies of scale and costs and COG controls that you can never dream to have in your life. Right. So don't even fight that game. Do what you're good at. Introduce people to newer styles of beer and hopefully run a successful business that way. That's it. We will never come down from that super premium end of the spectrum.
Never. Never. From these big boy beers, which one do you enjoy?
I think the Kingfisher Ultra is a pretty damn good beer, by the way. I think it's a really nicely made beer, which I had, when I was in Germany, I had many of these, more available lagers or mass market lagers, if you might. I have to tell you, the Kingfisher Ultra competes very, very well. And sometimes I'm like, shit, just give me a freaking Ultra rather than what I'm drinking there. So I think the credit to them.
You got an Ultra over there in Germany?
No. I said I would rather have
You'd rather have it over here than those German.
I would even have it there if it was available.
Yeah. I actually saw, I was in Italy, they had a Kingfisher, but like a special Italian version, like a more maltier Kingfisher over there.
Is that right?
Yeah.
No, I've never seen it.
I guess that's an export.
Contract manufactured there or something.
Maybe,
like that. Yeah. But that's a damn good beer. I mean, and credit to them. They're making this millions and millions of liters every month. Amazing. I don't know how they do it, but it's fantastic. And it's also interesting how my own mindset changed about these big boy beers, if you call them, right? The industrial beers, is that when I first came, I'm like, you know what? There's no taste, and there's no variety, and we can do better, all that kind of stuff. And I was literally blowing smoke up my own ass. The truth is, you have to pay respect to those people.
Right.
And this is what Vidya taught me, by the way. She said, who the heck are you to kind of tell yourself that you're going to produce better beers than them?
Right.
We can try to do the best that we can in the beers that we make. But these guys, you have to give them credit. And she's absolutely right. For producing the beers that they do at the volumes that they do and the number of breweries that they do, it's fabulous. It's fabulous. So hats off to them for doing that. So.
Are you also ever planning to come to Maharashtra or Goa, things like that?
Like I said, I think the objective of every craft brewery is to get this into as many appreciating mouths as you can.
Right.
So,
because I feel Bombay, like Mumbai especially, we are increasing craft breweries slowly, but there's still a lack of what people can also understand and people can also, feel. So yeah, I would love to see you in Mumbai.
hopefully someday.
Hopefully someday. And, I love your beers again. I would really recommend, if you are in Bangalore, to please come to Geist. Please try the food. I've not had the food yet over here.
You haven't had food?
I haven't had food
Please
yet.
have some food before you go.
No, I think I had the chana masala. I think my
masala.
guest, the peanut masala. Yeah, which we enjoyed. So we've had that. But I think you've got an Oktoberfest menu as well.
So I saw your post about us not having a Oktoberfest beer.
Yeah.
So the reason is this.
Yeah.
Is that when you're a production brewery like ours,
right,
you are scrambling to keep up volume.
Right.
Right. And so breweries like us, we would like to do more,
right,
but you cannot because you have to put your money where your customers are paying you for it.
Right.
And therefore you have a shortage of tanks, you have a shortage of equipment, all of that stuff.
Right.
You just don't have the flexibility as much as we'd like to do it. Hopefully over time we get better and better and we can do it. So we have to kind of sacrifice on producing new styles of beer to the demand that we have for the current set of beers.
Right.
Whereas a microbrewery, these things don't exist.
Right.
So it's easier
they
for
can
them
do something more for the public. Like, Oktoberfest is coming up. We'll do it for the public so we can get some more. But
we've done it in the past, but now with volumes going up, we've got a constraint with respect to how much of equipment we have to produce a new beer.
Right. I mean, that's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem.
It's a good problem.
Thank you.
And so I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for spending this time.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
I hope this reaches out to the right people and they find out more about Geist.
My kids love your channel, by the way.
They do? I'm
and
glad to know.
Both of my kids are in the US.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're like,
where in the US?
So one guy is in Brooklyn and the other is in San Francisco.
Okay.
Yeah. So they follow you. They love your channel.
Amazing.
They said, you know what? What I really like about him is he's really honest.
Yeah,
he just says what he thinks. And it's like, that's kind of cool.
That's what I started, I did this, again, this is not paid. If someone's like, I just want it to be that if this is like a growing market, people should know more about Indian brands. When I go to smaller cities or even Goa, people go and just have what the regular big boys are. And I feel that there are new emerging Indian craft breweries that people should really try out because they're really, really good beers.
Yeah.
So that was the entire idea about with this.
But I think what is nice about what you do is you're totally honest. And you're like, hey, this is what it is. This is what I think.
Right. And this happened again because of Unkle Dunkel. I had this beer and I thought this is the best Indian beer out there. People might see the color, people might see it's a darker beer and might not try it. But it's not that. It's a really special beer. And which is why I messaged him. After having a couple of beers, I was like, Mr. Narayan, listen, I really want to meet you and just know more about Geist as a whole. So thank you to Unkle Dunkel. Thank you to Vidya for brewing it.
Absolutely.
And thank you so much for meeting me.
No, my pleasure.
I hope you have a great day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
continue doing what you're doing. You're doing an amazing job.
If there's another beer in the future, if I could meet Vidya, I would love that in the future.
Absolutely.
So I'll see you soon.
Absolutely. Love to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Guys, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe. And if there's some special beer you'd like to recommend, leave it in the comments section below.